music television hasn't been an accurate descriptor of MTV for over a decade, at least here in the US. But for a while, one part of the schedule still held out as the rest of the channel succumbed to reality TV. I'm sure anyone who knows the basics on the history of TV knows something about the story of MTV's grand channel drift. While some expansion beyond music started as early as the late 1980s, many would argue it began in earnest with the 1992 premiere of The Real World, and in addition to popularizing reality television as we know it, well, at least the kind that now undergirds several cable channels, it would also set up the slow decline of music and its importance to MTV and its brand. This was most exemplified in the 2000s, with the progression of, among many other shows in a variety of unscripted genres, the likes of Pimp My Ride, The Hills, My Super Sweet 16, and, of course, in December 2009, the controversial cultural milestone that was Jersey Shore. As more proper shows took over the MTV schedule, music videos and content became more concentrated in fewer time slots. The most notable and longest such example was Total Request Live, started in 1998 as a combination of two separate formats started the prior year, a music video request show called Total Request and news, interviews, and performances show called MTV Live. By the turn of the millennium, the show would become a cultural icon and MTV's flagship, but things started to slide once Carson Daly left in 2003 to put more attention into that cushy new show he got with NBC that airs at the bustling time slot of weeknights at 1:37 a.m. Name a bigger scheduling downgrade, though it did parlay into being involved with Today and hosting The Voice, and despite phoning it in starting in 2013, Last Call ran all the way until last May. Anyway, TRL stuck it out until November 2008, by which point staying power was greatly diminished. While MTV would probably kill for 373,000 viewers in the late afternoon now, that just didn't fly by the much higher standards of early 2007. While I appreciate their attempts to reboot it in 2017, it started out by struggling to maintain six figures, and despite their numerous retools of the format to date, it just hasn't stuck. By the time the original TRL had passed on, MTV was deep into its much derided format shift. Jersey Shore was 13 months away, but The Hills and the end of My Super Sweet 16 had no trouble holding down the fort until then. Despite the great temptation to drop it outright, the late 2000s was basically the peak channel drift era, MTV tried again to keep music at a reasonable hour through the show FNMTV, which started back in June 2008. Despite comprising of early morning and late afternoon video blocks, plus a Friday night premiere slot hosted by Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy, it would hardly last the year. The daytime show would go in December 2008, and the morning block would just make it to January. After a brief period of running no music videos at all in early 2009, a sign of things to eventually come, MTV tried again that March with the launch of the last enduring music video block on their own airspace, AMTV. AMTV originally began as a more complex music video block, featuring a mixture of videos, news, interviews, and performances. The time slot tended to shift a little, but eventually it settled on generally airing between 3 and 9 a.m. As AMTV went on, it became more and more of a straight music video block, to the point where in September 2013, nearly all of the remaining themed blocks were replaced with one generic block entitled Music Feed. Music Feed would go on until December 2016 when it was taken off the schedule. It would prove to just be a hiatus as it returned in March 2017, albeit in a severely chopped down state, cut to just an hour a day, 4 days a week. That held for 7 weeks, at which point MTV decided to just rip the band-aid off completely and cancel AMTV, or what was left of it, after 8 years. Nowadays, AMTV exists as nothing more than a logo bug put on between 3 and 11 a.m. every morning. I find that fitting, given the things that have happened over the years with the other 18 hours of MTV's schedule. The demise of AMTV serves, in my eyes, as the completion of a channel shift that has taken over 2 decades to fully materialize. Sure, MTV still maintains a nominal, token effort to care about music content, but I don't think we'll see such a consistent commitment to the channel's original premise ever again. That's just not what MTV is now. Those 30 hours of music videos a week were growing increasingly incongruent with MTV's modern status as a youth entertainment brand. As much as nostalgic types edging out of the channel's demographic may lament about it, MTV isn't the network of 120 Minutes and Headbangers Ball anymore. It's not even the network of TRL and Making the Band these days. MTV is the network of Ridiculousness, and Teen Mom, and the Jersey Shore reboot, and whatever reality show they're trying to turn into the new The Hills this week. They don't even have a music video section on their website anymore. Just a nominal page highlighting the International MTV Push New Talent Initiative. MTV is now an acronym divorced from its original meaning. Its focus is entertainment, not music, and that's just something critics will have to accept. It is a triumph that MTV was able to parlay a novel concept into an international juggernaut that's still around almost 4 decades later. Whether or not you feel the network is still relevant depends on who you ask, and whether you're in their current audience, and whether you follow anything they're currently airing. But given how much has changed over the years and how you consume content, this shift was likely coming sometime or another. If maintaining their format was something that viewers consistently ate up, they'd still be at today. While I will absolutely make the case for the curation capabilities that TV, and in music's case radio, can provide, a lot of people don't see it that way and instead consume music videos on YouTube, assuming they watch them at all and don't just stream them on Spotify or whatever. In the face of the wider prerogative, it makes sense for modern MTV, or likely it's just more profitable, to focus on building original content they can call their own rather than focusing on being just a pass-through for labels and music videos. It's not like MTV has killed the video star completely though. Much of the schedule of MTV Live nowadays, once launched as an HD exclusive outlet for concerts and performances, now comprises of music videos. And for the hardcore nostalgia types who don't care for current music, or MTV's relationship with it, and just want the MTV they remember growing up with back, old videos and all, there's MTV Classic, though given it's one of the lowest rated things on cable, I doubt even those complainers know it exists. If you like this, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss more of my travels to the world of television every single week. Once you're done with that, you can check out more commentary on TV from me right up here or down in the description. I'm Benzie Johnson Jr., I'm enthusiastic about television, and I'll see you next time.